For 18 months, I never stepped inside a gym. No machines, no rack, no membership. And at the end of those 18 months, I was carrying more muscle, less fat, and more physical capability than I'd had at any point in my life. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and this video so that others can benefit. I'm not going to tell you the gym is useless, but I am going to tell you something about it that the fitness industry will never say out loud. There is a version of fitness that has been quietly sold to you, and it goes something like this. Results require resources. The right equipment, the right environment, the right amount of space in your schedule to commute somewhere, change, train, shower, and commute back. If you don't have those things, you're working with a handicap. That version is not science. It's marketing. And the reason it works so well is because it feels logical. Machines look powerful. Numbers on a weight stack feel measurable. The environment of a gym signals seriousness in a way that a living room floor simply doesn't. So we buy into it. Not because the evidence supports it, but because the feeling of it is convincing. Here's what the evidence actually supports. The stimulus that causes muscle adaptation is mechanical tension placed on a muscle fiber close to its capacity. That tension can come from a barbell. It can come from a cable machine. It can also come from your own body weight, manipulated intelligently. The source of resistance is almost entirely irrelevant to the outcome. What matters is the demand placed on the tissue, and that demand is something you can create anywhere. When I first lost access to a gym, my approach was essentially random. I knew the basic movements, push-ups, squats, lunges, so I did them. Not in any particular order, not with any particular progression plan, and not with any real intention beyond, I should probably do something today. For about 2 months, nothing changed. I was moving, sweating occasionally, checking a mental box that said I'd trained. But my body had no reason to adapt because I was never actually challenging it. I was performing fitness theater, going through motions that looked like training without applying the stimulus that causes training to work. The moment that shifted things was when I started treating each movement as the bottom rung of a ladder rather than a fixed exercise. A push-up isn't just a push-up. It's the entry point to a progression that, if followed with discipline, ends somewhere most people with full gym access never reach. The same is true for every fundamental movement pattern. There is always a harder version, always a way to demand more. And that realization turned a collection of floor exercises into an actual program. The difference between someone who trains and someone who gets results isn't effort. It's direction. Effort without a clear progression path is just movement. With it, it becomes development. So let me show you exactly what that progression looked like in practice and how I structured it week by week. I organized everything around 4 movement patterns: a push, a pull, a squat, and a hinge. Those 4 patterns, trained progressively and consistently, cover the entire body without redundancy or gaps. For the push, I worked through a progression that took me from a standard push-up toward an archer push-up, where one arm extends out to the side while the other takes the full load. At each stage, I added a tempo element: 4 seconds down, a full pause at the bottom, then drive up. That pause alone transforms a movement that feels easy into something that demands genuine effort. The muscle can't cheat its way through a paused rep the way it can through a fast one. For the pull, I worked with what I had: a low bar improvised from furniture, a bedsheet looped over a door. Later, a set of gymnastic rings that cost less than 2 months of a gym membership and changed what was possible entirely. The point isn't what you use, it's that you pull. The upper back, rear shoulder, and biceps need direct loading. Skip pulling, and you will develop an imbalance that eventually becomes a pain problem. For the squat, single leg work became the central focus. A Bulgarian split squat with the rear foot elevated on a chair is, mechanically, one of the most demanding lower body exercises in existence, with or without added weight. Done slowly, with a 2-second pause at the bottom, it taxes the quad and glute in a way that most people who train with barbells have never experienced. For the hinge, the single-leg Romanian deadlift performed on a smooth floor, one sock off, back foot sliding behind me as I lowered, produced a hamstring stimulus I genuinely hadn't expected. It also built single-leg stability that carries over to everything else, because real-world movement is almost never bilateral. I could feel which muscles were working in a way I'd never been able to isolate before. I could identify exactly where a movement was breaking down, where compensation was creeping in, where the weak link in a chain was hiding. That feedback made everything more efficient. Each rep became more productive because the quality of attention going into it was higher. And there was something else. Without the social environment of a gym, the comparisons, the performance, the subtle pressure of being seen, training became entirely about how I felt and what I was capable of. The metric shifted from external to internal. And internal metrics are, it turns out, far more sustainable. You can't fake them. You can't perform them. You either got stronger this week or you didn't. And only you know the answer. That internal shift, from training to be seen to training to develop, is the one that most people never make. And it might be the most valuable thing the absence of a gym ever gave me. So here's where I want to leave you, because this is the part that actually determines what happens next for you. 18 months, 4 movement patterns, 3 sessions a week. One rule: something must be harder this session than it was last time. That was the complete program. No app, no coach, no equipment beyond what I improvised from what already existed around me. The result wasn't just physical, though the physical results were real and measurable. The result was a completely different understanding of what training actually is. It isn't access to a facility. It isn't a membership fee or a rack or a machine with a weight stack. It's a practice, a consistent, progressive, intentional practice of demanding more from your body than you did before. That practice can happen anywhere. It has always been able to happen anywhere. The gym is a tool, a useful one if you have access and enjoy it, but it is not the source of the result. You are the source of the result. And once that distinction becomes real to you, not just conceptually true, but genuinely believed, the limitations you thought you had disappear almost entirely. Start with what you have. Go further than you think you can. Come back tomorrow and go a little further than that. The body you're trying to build is not waiting on better circumstances. It's waiting on a decision.